Ready for a deep dive today? We're tackling a topic that's so important: women's land rights in Uganda.
Absolutely. And we've got some really compelling information to dig into, all centered around the work being done by the Center for Citizens Conserving Environment and Management.
CECECC.
Catchy. Right. And their mission statement really stood out to me. Protecting nature, preserving our legacy. I mean, it gets you thinking, right?
It totally does. It suggests this interconnectedness between the environment, social structures, inheritance, like it's all woven together.
Exactly. But I think before we go too far, it's important to really understand the heart of the issue here.
Right. Paint a picture for our listener.
So imagine this. You inherit land, it's rightfully yours, but you're prevented from actually using it simply because you're a woman. You can't farm it, can't use it to support your family, nothing. This is a harsh reality for many women in Uganda.
And this is where CECC comes in. They're working to change those deeply ingrained social norms, but they're doing it in a way that I found really interesting. They're focusing on smaller community groups.
Yeah, it's all about deeper engagement, right? Ensuring that the message is not only heard but understood. And one of the things that really stuck out to me in their reports is this emphasis on involving both men and women in their programs.
I was going to say, it's not just about empowering women in isolation. It's about changing the entire conversation within families and communities, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's where this idea of preserving our legacy comes full circle. It's about shifting those traditional power dynamics by involving everyone in the process, sparking those essential dialogues between husbands and wives, fathers and daughters.
And they're not just going in blind.
Yeah.
CECIC emphasizes a really structured approach, a defined curriculum. Everyone's on the same page, literally.
Yeah, that consistency is key for learning and measuring progress. But speaking of learning, they've also highlighted how crucial it is to be adaptable. The COVID-19 pandemic forced them to pivot, like so many organizations.
Right, everyone had to adjust. So did
Wow.
they say how they've integrated those lessons into their current programs?
They emphasized building more flexibility into their program designs now, understanding that unexpected challenges are bound to pop up.
Adaptability, it's a lesson for all of us, really. But there's another interesting twist I wanted to bring up. It seems like CECI's found that to keep men engaged long term, they had to address the economic side of things too.
It's all connected, right? Land ownership, economic security, gender dynamics. It's not enough to just talk about rights. You have to address the practical realities. By incorporating income-generating activities, men are more likely to get on board because they see the tangible benefits for themselves and their families.
Okay, so it's about creating a win-win situation for everyone involved.
Yeah.
And I do love that holistic approach. Speaking of holistic, I have to mention this image on CECI's contact page. It shows this group of people setting up this tarp structure, like maybe a makeshift community center.
I see it. And to me, it perfectly captures that grassroots, on-the-ground approach they champion. They're not just issuing directives from afar. They're right there working alongside the community, building those relationships.
And while they're incredibly proud of the progress they've made, they readily acknowledge that there's still so much work to be done.
Absolutely. And it's an ongoing process. They're committed to expanding their programs and advocating for policies that truly guarantee secure land rights for women. Which leads us to a final thought-provoking question for our listeners to consider.
I love a good thought-provoking question.
So CECE focuses on community engagement, education, and advocacy. All incredibly important, of course. But what other avenues beyond these do you think could create that lasting, systemic change in Uganda and even globally? It's a question worth pondering, especially given the complexities of this issue.
Absolutely, and that's something for all of us to reflect on.